The first ever competition for Grand Slam track is officially over, and that means that we have brand new Jamaica Slam champions, and on top of that, every single one of those champions is $100,000 richer. If you actually watched it live, then I shouldn't have to tell you that we've never seen anything like this in the sport, especially not in the month of April, because normally, any competitions that go down around now are essentially glorified practices, and they pay the athletes as such. Or just don't pay them at all. And I do have to admit that from the first time I heard that Grand Slam track was going to be a thing, I was skeptical. But I figured I might as well climb aboard the bandwagon. Because what other choice did we really have? For all the reasons I just mentioned. They were promising to give us high quality races from some of the best athletes in the sport. And when I say races, I mean like they go out there and actually compete like it matters. And Grand Slam track delivered on that, and then some. But if you're still watching this video at this point, I'm pretty sure you want me to get to the action and recap day 3. And trust me, I'm getting to that. But after I do, I might as well just give you my thoughts on the entire weekend, because this was the first Grand Slam, but it's definitely not going to be the last. For that matter, I'm gonna be at the next one live. But now that Grand Slam track is here, and seemingly, it's not going anywhere, the rest of the track community is going to have to learn how to deal with it from this point on. Every single race on day 3 was no longer just for points, because whoever had the most points at the end of the weekend in your event group was going to be the champion and get the money that goes along with it. And it all got started with the women's short hurdles group, but they were running the 100 with no hurdles. And Danielle Williams of Jamaica got the victory, not just in the open 100, but for the entire weekend, because she was second in the 100 hurdles if you were paying attention. I admit that she was not my pick to win the entire slam, not even close. And for that matter, I apologize to Danielle Williams personally, because I should have known you had that talent and that you still had it in the bag. But that's why the 2 event model that they are using is so entertaining, because we get to actually watch the athletes go out there and compete, because the lanes on the track really do not care what your PR is or what you've done in the past. You've got to prove it on that track with a whole bunch of money on the line. And then in the men's long hurdles group, they were also competing without the hurdles anymore. And Allison Dos Santos got the victory in the 400. He was my pick to win the whole thing, and, well, he did. He won the 400 hurdles and the open 4. But the race of the 400 was very close at the line. He barely edged it out. And that is what we're talking about. Everybody had to compete. In the women's long distance events, Taye won both of them, the 3K and the 5K wire to wire. But if you look over at the men's long distance, it was very different, because Grant Fisher won the 5K. So coming into the 3K, he only had to get third to win the entire slam, and then Gebraway ran away from the field, and he took somebody else with him. So there were 2 races going on, the race for the lead, which really wasn't all in doubt for the most part, and the race for third. And Grant Fisher got third, but it wasn't easy, because that second race, remember, the way the stakes are set up, people actually want to get third now. We normally just see people mail it in a regular race, but not here, because it was going to make a huge difference who was 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But now, Grant Fisher is the champion at the first Grand Slam. But arguably the race of the day had to go to the men's short hurdles group, because they removed the hurdles and had them run the open 100. And just about everybody had Omar McLeod as their favorite because of his 100 meter PR. But hey, you gotta do it on this track at this time. And Sasha Zoya pulled out the victory, and he did not let anybody forget it. But Dylan Beard held on for 3rd in the 100, which allowed him to get 2nd overall for the entire slam. And when you consider that he doesn't have a major apparel sponsor up until this point, the amount of money that he just pulled off for one weekend of competition, that's gonna make a big difference. But if you're new here, I wanna say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. I do have to admit that the men's short distance race was never really in doubt, because after Emmanuel Wanyoni won the 1500 when he really wasn't supposed to, if you know how fast he is in the 800, well, the entire slam was definitely going to go to him. But Marco Arop still took it away from the rest of the field in order to win the 800, at least for bragging rights and to get the points for himself. But when it came to the women's short sprints, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden reminded everybody why she is an Olympic medalist, because she already won the 100, then came back and held on to win the 200. And if you were paying attention to the clocks, because the clocks were not that fast, you have to understand, they were running into a negative 4-point headwind on that final stretch. So again, forget about the clocks. They went out there and competed. And Jenna Prandini, who wasn't even supposed to be in the field until like a few days before the meet started, she just came off the Texas relays, hit Grand Slam track, like hit the track, and now walks away with second place. And once again, all the money that goes with it. And the grand finale of the day went to the women's long hurdles group, where Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone was running a 400 without hurdles, and we all know she can do it fast. But there was a whole lot of wind swirling around the track, like I said. So the time that she ran, again, was only 50.3. But yes, it was a wire-to-wire victory for the 400 hurdles and the open 4, because we all knew that was going to happen anyway. If you actually care what my thoughts are on all of this, when the meet was over, Matthew Centrowitz was on the TV broadcast, and he was wearing a shirt that said, "Save track." Just let that sink in for a moment, because Grand Slam track is filling a void that has been there for a very long time. Track as a sport, I mean, track and field, but right now we're talking about the track part, just to be honest. The sport has really not seen much development at the pro level. It's the reason why most people still think that the only thing that track athletes do is compete at the Olympics. They don't even know what's happening for the other 4 years. World championships included. I mean, track people care about it, but non-track people don't care about it. If you really understood what pro track actually is, like what it's become in the current framework, just think about it this way. If professional basketball did exactly what we do in track, if you're an athlete like LeBron James, your entire career would not be playing in NBA games, regular season, playoffs. None of that would exist, because that's not how they do it in international competition. They play tournaments. So as a result, his whole career, even as a young phenom, would have been him trying to make Team USA basketball. That's what it would be. He would play games that really don't mean much. They're just auditions to get on Team USA basketball. I mean, you can call them tournaments, but they're just random tournaments. Nobody really cares. And there might even be benefit games. There might even be showcases. Like, some of them are just one-offs. They're not actual tournaments. But as long as he plays well enough to get invited, he'll be at Team USA's training camp. He might make the team, go out there and try to win some medals. But the only thing people really care about is the Olympics. So as a result, they'd play in the World Cup, which basketball has. And they'd play in World Championships and, America's tournaments. All of these things actually exist. They do that in international basketball. And nobody really cares. The only time international basketball hits the scene, like for public opinion for everybody, is the Olympics. Again, just being honest, his entire career would be, once again, trying to get back on an Olympic team, or maybe go to a world championship or a World Cup or something like that nobody really cares much about. And again, just filling in a bunch of showcases that nobody really cares much about. That's what track has become. But the NBA created a league, and the league has a separate structure. It's a totally different product than what Olympic basketball actually is. And because that league built up a brand over time, now the players can get paid more money than I can even dream of. I am not saying that Grand Slam track is going to be that big, but the model that they're putting out there is already on pace to become the UFC of track. Remember, what we just witnessed was a sparring match, where the only way you were allowed into the ring is if you were already supposed to be one of the best in the world. And once you got in that ring, you had to go out and throw hands, because you had to run multiple events and show what you were capable of. And hey, once you're in the ring, somebody's probably going to get knocked down. And if you're not careful, it just might be you. But the rewards are far worth the risk. I'm almost 100% positive that this is only phase 1 of what Grand Slam track is going to eventually become. Of course, I've got my own thoughts on it, but hey, nobody really asked me right now, so I'm not going to get into it. Maybe some other time, maybe in another video. Let me know in the comments if you really care that much. But until that moment, we all need to recognize that Grand Slam track isn't just here. It announced itself loud and clear. And whether or not you get on the track with them, you're going to have to deal with them from this moment on. Because you cannot just call yourself the fastest man or woman in the world anymore. You're going to have to go out there and prove it. One race at a time. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast is a Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.